Thanks for tuning in to Luntha Television. It's yet another time for a news bulletin coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center in Area 2, Lilongwe. Today you're with me, Lina Perry. The headlines at this half hour. Cardinal Bechu to participate in the next consistory. Catholic Relief Services Faithful House for Smart Couples tackles family stress. Loose legal framework costs Malawi millions of dollars through tax incentives. And in other news, Somali Prime Minister vows accountability after deadly hotel attack. We have reports to these and other latest stories. Do stay tuned in.
Vacationing, Cardinal Bechu said he received the invitation to participate in the next consistory from Pope Francis. Sources in the Holy See context of events connected to the financial investments of the Secretariat of State in London. The process will resume on the 29th to 30th September after the summer break and will continue with 7 more hearings scheduled for October. The Cardinal is accused of embezzlement and abuse of office and has always maintained he is a victim of a plot against him. During the trial, having taken the stand 3 times, he has defended himself by speaking of unfounded accusations. On the 24th of September 2020, Cardinal Bechu submitted his resignation as Prefect of Congregation for the Causes of Saints to Pope Francis.
Catholic Relief Services (CRS) has asked Christian families to corner the foundation rock of their marriage if they are to enhance child protection and social development. CRS Project Coordinator Jacqueline Ngwani said this on Tuesday during the opening ceremony of a 4-day couples training in Lilongwe. The initiative is dubbed Faithful House for Smart Couples in Africa. Helbert Katanda reports.
The initiative falls under the score Early Childhood Development 3, the organization in partnership with AURIM is implementing in the country. Faithful House for Smart Couples is a curriculum that aims to strengthen the family through enhanced couple communication achieved by skills building, positive peer mentoring, and provision of a safe environment for couples to dialogue around quality of relationship issues and other attitudes and behaviors that contribute to sexual risk behavior. Gwani said peace is the prerequisite of child protection measures. Hence, they introduced an initiative that is capable of instilling peace in families.
We have invited 16 couples, and from this we are going to select the ones that are going to meet the criteria, because there's a designated criteria for them to become facilitators. So once we select about maybe 10 couples, they are going to go into another session to become the facilitators for the Smart Couple initiative. They are coming from 4 districts. We have Sanje, Shikwawa, Beta, as well as Zomba, as part of the districts where we are implementing the project. Because
one of the lead trainers of the Faithful House for Smart Couples in Africa, Gonz Garwega, said they would like to provide relationship issues therapy.
Came from Uganda to come to start the Faithful House here in Uganda, training for smart couples, and the main theme is building families to affirm life and avoid risk. And through that, we help couples to discuss their issues so that they are able to come out with joint decision making, working together, sharing their resources, and knowing about how to raise their own children and how to come out of poverty.
The 4-year ECD project is being implemented in 7 districts, including Zomba, Msanje, Dedza, and Chigwawa.
Malawi Electoral Commission MEC has expressed satisfaction over the turnout of people who stormed polling centers at Wenya Ward in Chitipa District, Lupembe Ward in Karanga District, and Shiri Ward in Balaka Central East constituency following the passing on of the then councillors. In an interview with Luntha television, MEC Communications Officer Sangwani Mofalira commended the exercise, saying it tells more on the issue of adherence to protocol on the side of the Commission's presiding officers. Here is part of what he said.
Well, polling has commenced today in all centers, in all the 3 wards where we are having by-elections. So far, we don't have a record of any center that has failed to open down time. Regarding turnout, what I can say is been a mixed bag. We got centers that had satisfying turnout, but in some, they still need for improvement. People always have different patterns regarding their approach to their preferred time of polling. Some would prefer to go in the morning, others would have prefer to go in the afternoon. So our appeal to everyone is that as long as they are registered voters, they should take the time to go and vote, and they should go to the centers on good time. The centers will remain open up to 6 p.m. Should it happen that at 6 p.m. we still have people on the queue, those ones will not be sent back. They will be given the opportunity to vote. Immediately we close for polling, vote counting will take place at the various centers. Now, when we are done with the counting at the center, the results will be taken to the district data center, where the DC is going to collect for the district, and thereafter the DC is going to take the results, but also the null and void results and the record of corporate group to the main data center located in Zuzu. The commission will be sitting at the court data center to receive these results and make its own determination. If all goes according to schedule, the commission will be giving out the official results by the afternoon of tomorrow. Right.
A consortium of youth organizations has emphasized the need for governments in the SADC region to put in place development strategies to confront some challenges youth across the region are facing, like child marriages, early pregnancies, and poor education services, just to mention but a few. Addressing the media on Monday ahead of the 4th edition of the Southern Africa Regional Students and Youth Conference, which is slated for the 24th to the 25th of August in Lilongwe, SARSYC convener Jimmy Wolford, who is also the director for SAYWAT organizations from Zimbabwe, said as the conference will bring together youth from the SADC region, there is a need to have honest deliberations on how best they can have their aspirations be received and safeguarded. We have a report by Bridget Monoka.
SASC conference will, among other things, engage young people on health, education, and their well-being through raising awareness of provisions, strategies, and action plans to address their challenges. Hundreds of students from different countries in Southern Africa and young people from civil society organizations will join the conference physically and virtually. In an interview with journalists, Jimmy Wolford, director for SAYWAT organization from Zimbabwe, who is also SASC convener, said governments, development partners and stakeholders in the Southern Africa region are advised to revisit interests of young people in the wake of disruptions that were brought about by the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic. He said education system across the world suffered as schools were forced to close to contain further spread of COVID-19 virus, and close to 800 million learners have been affected, many of these from SADC. Wolford elaborated that the conference will, among other things, recommit to the youth agenda and prioritize the health, education, empowerment and livelihoods of young people for them to have a common goal and agenda.
The student community, the young people community, is a fluid community. At one point I was a young person myself. I'm no longer a young person. So there is need to continuously convene these gatherings like that at any given time all the generations are equipped with the necessary skills so that they can make informed decisions about their lives going forward.
The fourth edition of SAS conference will be held under the theme Reshaping, Replanning and Recommitting to the Youth Agenda in the Southern Africa region, as it calls upon governments, development partners and stakeholders to revisit the interests of young people. Some organizations in the consortium are SAYWAT, Luntha, the Swedish Embassy in Zimbabwe, United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, Zimbabwe and Malawi, Girls Activist Youth Organization GAYO, and the National Youth Council. For Luntha Television News in Lilongwe, this is Bridget Manoka.
If you've just joined us, you're watching news on Luntha TV. A reminder of the headlines before we proceed. Cardinal Beach to participate in the next consistory. Catholic Relief Services Faithful House for Smart Couples tackles family stress. Loose legal framework costs Malawi millions of dollars through tax incentives. And in other news, Somali Prime Minister vows accountability after deadly hotel attack. Moving on, government's policy to allow multinational companies operate in the country without giving taxes for a specific period of time has worried some civil society groups who say it is contributing to the country's underdevelopment. Speaking during a two-day capacity building orientation on domestic resources mobilization in Lilongwe, civil society representatives expressed concern that if government will continue providing the tax incentives, it will still lag behind in the provision of essential social amenities to its people. Bernard Mwanza has more in this report.
The latest findings by the Malawi Economic Justice Network, merging with support from Tax Justice Network Africa (TJNA) on Malawi's taxation system, have revealed that Malawi is losing about $20 billion annually due to unlawful dealings with multinational companies. Dr. Tonasius Patera, who conducted the study on behalf of merging, said domestic resource mobilization is key to a self-sustaining development of African countries. He further stressed that there is need for strong ICT systems and good strategies on data management systems so as to remove human interaction on revenue collection with the aim of maximizing the same. Francis Kairu, who is the Tax Justice Network Africa policy officer, said it will not be easy for African countries to attain Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) if countries will not improve on their domestic resource mobilization strategies.
I say this is a fallacy because despite African countries granting tax incentives to numerous companies, generous tax incentives, we still are not attracting enough foreign direct investments. We still are suffering as African countries. Malawi is still not growing economically as it should. And I think there is an opportunity for people to ask themselves, are tax incentives working for Malawi, or are they working for the multinationals?
One of the issues that was highlighted as cause for worry is to do with mining sector, where companies are extracting mineral resources without government benefiting anything, as they do less in corporate social responsibilities. On her part, chairperson for the Budget and Finance Committee of Parliament, Honorable Gladys Ganda, said it is critical for government to ensure that all loopholes that deprive the country of its own resources through illicit money flows are filled.
The challenge that we have is we have limited resources in terms of the revenue side, whether it's tax revenue or non-tax revenue, and the expenditure side is just increasing. So moving forward, this discussion has also motivated us to make sure that we look into the revenue side itself, not just the expenditure side, but make sure that we also follow through how government is bringing its tax. What are incentives that are there? Are they giving reports to Parliament? Are they doing the cost-benefit analysis?
Meanwhile, merging through its regional coordinator, Mervyn Banda, has pledged to keep on engaging all relevant stakeholders on issues to do with financial management, mainly on how government accounts for the budget. Some stakeholders who participated at the capacity building orientation meeting include economic governance experts and the media. For Luntha News, I am Bernard Manza.
A secondary school teacher at Mpelisi in Balaka district, Humphrey Sandram, is the grand winner of the Winnicor promotion which NBS Bank has been running from February 20th to June 30th, 2022. The prize was presented to Sandram at Balaka branch, where his account is held. In a remarks, NBS marketing manager Tamanda Longwe said the competition came as a payback to customers and encouraging them to keep their money in the banks. Rashida Matandika has details in this report.
According to Tamanda Longwe, NBS Bank marketing manager, the competition was open to both old and new customers with 50,000 kwacha deposit as an entry requirement and a fixed deposit of 200,000 kwacha to maintain the chances of winning. She further said chances of benefiting with the bank are still high.
Like I said earlier on, we wanted to reward our customers, but also to encourage Malawians to save money in the bank. We don't want people to be keeping money at home. Keep it in the bank because you benefit more. I'll give an example of why we actually encourage that. Apart from adults opening accounts or businesses opening accounts, when you open an account, you have an opportunity to, for example, get a loan as capital to start a business or to even advance your current business. Another example would be if you are short on school fees, for example, and you want to top up to pay fees for your kids. We do offer loans for such things. At this point in time, we've recently introduced a loan actually, which you can get via phone. So we're calling it Kajangu Payday or Kajangu Personal Loan. For the Kajangu Payday loan, you can actually, it's a loan that's more like an advance. So instead of going to the office and taking a while to get your advance, you simply link into your phone if you have internet on your phone, and once you go through the steps on that link, you can actually get a loan within 10 minutes. And we're encouraging that because we know that Malawians can have hardships in different areas, whether it's funerals, whether it's emergencies, and those loans are actually designed to make our customers' lives easier.
Expressing his happiness, the winner, Humphrey Sandram, said the 50,000 kwacha did the magic and now his life has changed.
I was just save my money in my account, amount to 50,000. That's it.
The Balaka District Commissioner Darwin Ngoli, while applauding NBS, has also called on other service providers to follow suit and give back to the community.
It is very important, and in marketing there is the social responsibility, which most of the businesses are not doing it. So it's quite encouraging for NBS to have this grand prize to one of our citizens in Balaka, and I would wish to encourage other banks and other businesses that they should at least organize something as a return to the community.
Other prizes included cash to 3 monthly winners in the 4 months of the competition. The bank has also opened a new account with a 50,000 kwacha start-up deposit for the DC. For Luntha TV in Balaka, this is Rashida Matantika reporting.
In other news, Somali's Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre has promised of accountability after the latest Al-Shabaab attack on a popular Mogadishu hotel, which has killed 21 people and injured 117 others. Barre said the government takes responsibility for what happened in Friday's attack on the Hyatt Hotel. After visiting hospitals treating the injured victims, Barre said those who failed to perform their duties, anyone who fell short and anyone who infringed will be held accountable. We have an Al Jazeera report.
It took security forces 30 hours to end the siege of the Hyatt Hotel in Mogadishu. A special police task force deployed to the Somali capital killed the attackers and freed the hostages. The attack began on Friday night when Al-Shabaab gunmen detonated 2 car bombs at the entrance of the hotel before storming it. Dozens of people were trapped in the building.
Just minutes before the blast, 2 of my friends told me they would be leaving, but seconds later they were both killed. People fled in confusion. They were all running towards places they thought would be safe. The hotel began to fill with smoke and flames. I saw one of the hotel guards bleeding and another man wounded.
The Hyatt is popular among businessmen, government personnel and politicians. This is the first attack Al-Shabaab has carried out in Mogadishu since Hassan Sheikh Mohammed was elected president for a second time in May. Despite a years-long offensive by the government and African Union forces, the siege is a reminder that the armed group still poses a threat to Somali security.
That item also wraps up this edition of our news bulletin, but before we leave, a recap of the headlines. Cardinal Beichu to participate in the next consistory. Catholic Relief Services Faithful House for Smart Couples tackles family stress. Loose legal framework costs Malawi millions of dollars through tax incentives. And in other news, Somali Prime Minister vows accountability after deadly hotel attack. From me, Adinafe Perry, and the rest of the team right here on Luntha TV, thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.